Wow. Hello, hello, Royal Tea Talk Podcast family. Welcome back to another episode. Today is February the 1st, which is Black History Month, the first day of Black History Month. And when I found out today was also National Get Up Day, I was really excited about that because to me, it says something big to have National Get Up Day as the first day of Black History Month. There are so many things we as a people need to do, to change, to get up, to start in our lives. And it's apparent in the things that we see every day. We're seeing things that are happening currently right now with Tyree Nichols and his brutal beating to death. And so there are things that we need to get up to do to make changes in our political system, in our current cities, so that we can make the changes needed so that our children don't have to keep experiencing these types of situations. So today, I wanted to talk about getting up. And for me, I want to talk about it from my perspective. So, as a woman, as a wife, as a mother, getting up can sometimes be hard. And I guess this is also kind of like a mental health type thing too, because really it is sometimes an everyday or a consistent battle to get up when life is throwing its curveballs at you. I have experienced so many things in life. In the essence where I didn't want to get up. There were miscarriages where all I wanted to do was lay in bed. There were situations with my husband and all I wanted to do was lay in bed, and depression kept trying to hit me, trying to hit me, trying to hit me. I even remember, before I was married to my husband now, and there were things that I was going through with my ex, my oldest son's father. And I can remember faxing over to my sister. Okay, y'all, that's just how old I am. I faxed this over, couldn't text her and just say whatever. Um, but I remember feeling so down that all I could do was write that I didn't want to be here anymore. I was struggling with the relationship. I was young, I had two kids, and I couldn't see myself getting up anymore. And I don't know what she ended up calling and saying to me today, but I do know that I am still here today. And I am grateful that I am still here because I got to see my two children grow up. They are now 23 and 21 years old. And now I have a bouncing 8-month old baby that I would not have gotten to experience if my life had been cut short at that time. So I think that talking about getting up really hits home with me for several of those reasons. And even now, being in a much better place mentally, a much better place physically, financially, I still can have some days where I struggle to get up, or struggle to continue to get up because I'm tired. I got more tasks than I have time. I need to cook, I need to clean, I need to work. Okay. Um, and I just don't feel like all the time that I have time to do the things that I need to do. I'm trying to get several businesses off the ground, and that is hard. Sometimes I don't feel like podcasting. Today, I did not feel like podcasting. But once I do it, y'all, it's just so rewarding to actually enjoy the task. And that's how you know you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, because when you come up against opposition and you still press on, there is a feeling of self gratification at the end of it where you don't need someone else to pat you on your back. You can pat yourself and say, well done. So, I also just want to make sure that I do talk about those different areas and how I approach them. Being first and foremost a wife, there are not times, every day I'm not happy go lucky about cleaning the house. I'm not happy go lucky about cooking meals. And I'm definitely not always an initiator when it comes to the other things, you know. So, because sometimes by the time I get into bed, I'm just tired. You know what I'm saying? And I want my husband to understand that. I want him to be like, babe, I understand you had a long day. I'm going to just do all the work. You don't got to do nothing but enjoy. But that's not usually how that goes. Usually, he wants me to be an active participant. And by the time the party gets started, I'm usually very willing. But, you know, it's just everyone's not like that. Everyone can't push past all of the tasks that we have to do as wives and mothers every day. A lot of times it seems like we have more that we take on than the average person in the household. And, I was even reading recently about some of the older customs in biblical times. And it was just saying how, of course, women were the managers of the home, and it really made their husbands look really good if they also knew how to handle business. And they also had to be able to, when the things came in from the field, make it do what it do on the inside, train up their sons up until a certain point, and then the father taught them a trade, but then train up the daughters so that they could then, take on the roles that they have. And it's like we have always played a part in everything that happens in our household and in our families. Like we really are the glue. I can see so much why we're the husband's rib. We are that safety net for everything that happens within the body of our home. So and it's not always easy. Sometimes it's really, really, and the word I think I'm looking for, it just came to me, was is draining. And, by the time you get to the end of the day, you want that me time that we don't always get, that we don't always allocate to ourselves, because most of our day is allocated to the other members of our families, whether that's only on the inside, and then you got your extended family, and then you also have friends where it's like you want to keep up with them, you want to do things with them, and it's like, but how do you put them in, how do you keep that time also with them? It's really an ongoing battle to continue to have that balance and create that time. So, those are battles that I struggle with as a wife. And what I'll say is that I practice communicating with my husband, so that he can understand how I'm feeling every day, what I've done, what I'm going through. And then that way he is able to relate, and I don't just expect him to relate when he can't really understand without me vocalizing sometimes how I'm feeling, because he doesn't always get the signals. He doesn't always get the that, may come out as I have to sweep or mop or vacuum or whatever. And I'm fortunate in the fact that although he doesn't do everything that I do, and I realize that there are just ways that I like to keep my home, and I can't expect someone else to be me. So I am fortunate that there are times when he'll wash the clothes, when he'll dry the clothes. And, everybody doesn't have that. And I do have to sometimes remind myself of even the small blessings that are in my life in whatever area that they come in. Um, so also as a woman, um, it can kind of get thrown to the back burner when you are a wife and a mother, that you are still a woman. But I do my best. And like I said, I have an 8-month-old now. So it could be easy to just walk around, also work from home. So it could be easy to just walk around my pajamas, my head toe up, and not brushing my teeth on a regular, those things could be easy, but keeping a really good routine of trying to make sure that I look like if I needed to walk out, I can. Not saying that I don't work in my pajamas, okay? Because if I can, I will. But like today, my hair is braided, and it's just easy to maintain a good style. So, when he FaceTimes me, he don't see me looking a mess. He don't see, who wants to come home to that? So, I don't even want to look at myself in the mirror if I'm looking like that because I like to look good. So, I continue to try to do those practices. There are things that I have not done since I have set certain goals. And so that's different. It's different if I set a goal and I choose to not do something for myself as a woman. For example, I set a goal. We wanted to purchase a house. So something I eliminated was getting my nails done. And I honestly have not gotten my nails done since. And I really don't miss it. Like I haven't even painted them, and I kept saying, "I'm gonna paint my nails. I'm gonna paint my nails." I painted my feet, so they'll be cute in my shoes, but I haven't actually painted my nails. Now, summertime roll back around, I'm sure I will. But as far as going to somebody's shop and paying them that money to get my nails done, I have too many goals right now to do that. So, no, that's not something that I'll be doing. But there are other things that I do plan on doing for myself, like taking more time away from home and getting out and seeing some different parts of even the United States. Let's not even, jump to the world, but let's talk about the United States because there are places that I haven't gone here. So, that's part of the goals and things that I want to do and I try to do for myself as a woman. And when it comes to times where it seems to be overwhelming, I try to at least do something small so that I can decompress, whether that's reading, which my goal is to read a little at night, even if it's just 10 minutes. Read, I may have a glass of wine, and you know, that's my me time. The baby sleep, the house is quiet, that's my time. Um, and there are other things that I like to do that even if it's something small, like I said, that's my goal. That's how I continue to get up. And honestly, also, my goals make me get up. The fact that I know there is something else that I need to do, there are things that I look forward to doing, even though it's a lot that comes with trying to create systems for a business and certain things that you want to see in that business that is going to speak to your brand. It is exciting. So that excitement makes me want to get up. So I think that's what's really important is finding out what makes you want to get up. And then you continue to do those things. And I feel like over time, those things change, they evolve, and just be self aware. Be aware of those things and um, continue to create time and space for them, especially the part that comes from you, because you can't really give out to others when you haven't given in to yourself the way that you need to. I would not be the person that I will be to my 8-month old from the person that I was way back. Maturity set in, wisdom, and there are things that I do differently. And so that's what I'm saying. Like when you evolve, be okay with that. Be okay that your circle might change. Be okay that your environment may change. And if it's all changing for the good, be okay and smile and be happy about it. And that's the other thing. Smile more. That will make you continue to get up. It will make you continue to go. That positivity and being really diligent about not allowing negativity around you all the time is really going to help. Okay, so let's talk about getting up as a mother. Okay. So for me, I thought about, of course, my 8-month old, and I'm thinking back to all the things that I learned with my 23-year old, my 21-year old, and being someone who was a parent to my 23-year old, I got pregnant when I was 15 and then 17 with my 21-year old. So I feel like I spent so many years trying to not just find myself, but trying to provide, that that time went by so fast that I didn't get to enjoy the things that I get to enjoy about my son now. And I believe that's making a difference. It's making me really consider things that I didn't have time to consider back then because I had to be more worried about minute things. I had to push past, like, there was a lot of, you got to get up and go because you got these two babies counting on you. You got this going on or that going on. And um you know, I think when talking about getting up as a mother, dealing with also being in a relationship that was abusive, it was a lot of days I didn't want to get up, but I knew I didn't want him to take me out of here either. So it was a lot of challenges that I constantly feel like I was facing, that made me continue to want to get up, but they were really motivators for me. And in thinking about the whole getting up situation and all the challenges that I faced, um, initially, the first thing I thought about biblically was the woman with the issue of blood and how she crawled basically on the ground between all these people trying to reach Jesus for her healing, for her change. And that's how I felt a lot of times. I felt like I was, as this young mother, as a young woman, trying to be a part of a corporate world that really a lot of people in my family weren't able to groom me for, or did not groom me for. I had to figure that out myself. And in the middle of all those challenges, I felt like that particular parts of that woman's story was me being down on the ground, looking up, and it seems like so many other people are above you. So many other people are getting to enjoy things that you don't get to enjoy. You know, I was a teen, I didn't get to go off to college because I had children. And my friends, my peers were doing things that I didn't get to do. Even as a teen mom, experienced, certain things that were said and gossip about me because of my situation. And it was like they couldn't see me. And it's like these people were continuing to walk while this woman was literally on the ground in the dirt. And the grounds weren't like how they are now, where most of them are paved. I grew up on a dirt road, so I know how grimy and dirty a dirt road can get after water, after mud. The mud's come through. It's still not good to walk on. So that's how I felt a lot of times. Like I was doing the best I could to get through this dirty situation, this dirty mud, and make it to a place where I could be clean, where I could be healthy, where I could just be happy. And the desire for that motivated me to keep going, as I believe this woman's desire to be made whole motivated her to continue to reach and touch for the hem of his garment, even though that was a time when she shouldn't have been where she was. It also made me think about, as a mom, the pressures that you feel. It, this time I was an older mother. So there were a lot of things that I worried about that I did not even think to worry about as a teen mom. And then let's not even begin to talk about, no, we're going to talk about it. All the things about once he got here, how I felt, the pressures that I put on myself because I want a different life for him. And some of those pressures are actually good pressures because they will motivate me to continue to develop myself so that he can develop and be different and have different things in life, open up different opportunities for himself. And so I thought about different mothers in the Bible as well, and their situations and how they dealt with them. And because I always feel like there is something that is relatable to our situations biblically. And then so there's something that we should be taking away from it for our everyday practical living lives. And so I'm thinking about it and parenting. And I'm like, the first thing we as mothers do, and I'm thinking, and it's easy for me to think of this right now because it's so fresh on my brain is my labor and delivery, that wonderful feeling. And all I want to do is coddle him. All I want to do now is coddle him. When he falls down, because now he's crawling all over the place and exploring everything. Um, if he falls, even the slightest bit, because he is going to let you know he does not like to fall, is he's going to cry. And then I'm going to run over there to him and I'm going to coddle him and I'm going to love on him and kiss on him and let him know that I'm here. And that is like the innate thing that's in us as women and as mothers, is to coddle. And so I was like, oh, yeah, as I'm thinking about this whole thing. And then I said, you know what? But what happens when we coddle too long? Our children turn into these other little beasts. And then there are like little situations I'm thinking about as well, in my own life that I've experienced, where there are times when I'm like, why do my children act like this? I did not raise them this way. And then there are other times when it's like, I'm thinking, what do I need to do differently as a mother? Um, what do I want to keep the same? And I love that I'm thinking about these different areas of my life to just share with you guys as well. Because I'm like, what do I want to do different? Once I coddle him, then what needs to happen next? Because you can't coddle a child forever. They're going to be entitled. They're going to be rude, possibly. They won't be able to sustain self on their, independently. So what's next? And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I'm like, there has to be a point where we coach and we cheer them on. And I feel like with my oldest two, they're adults now. That's where I'm at. I'm at the place with them where I provide advice. Um, but I also have to remember that they are adults, and there are areas where mommy needs to step back. There are areas where, they really have to learn more on their own on their adulting, because I've set a really good foundation. And so that's that. But I'm like, they're adults. So there has to be, what's the transition? What happens in between the time where we cuddle our children and the time where we get to a place where we can coach and we can cheer them on? How do we equip them to face the challenges that they need to face without overbearing our motherhood, our innate God to protect them, to keep them from the things of this world, the things that we experience that we don't want them to? How do we transition from baby to adulthood for them and for ourselves, so that we're not completely overwhelmed? Because when my kids go through, even when they're adults, it still hurts a place in me as their mother. There's still something in me as a mom that wants to fix it. So, how do I get them from point A to point C? What's my B? Courage. We have to teach our children to have courage. And it takes courage in us because there's a place in life where we have to let go. And as moms, that's not easy. But we want them to believe in themselves as much as we do. And when we find that there are times when we don't believe our children can do certain things, because there are times when we're like, can you do that? Um, I remember telling my mom and my family I was going to move 300 miles away. Nobody wanted me to because basically all my family is there. But I knew I had the ability to do it. And although it would have been great to have that support, and that's what I've tried to be to my children, is to be that support for them. I have to make sure that there comes a time in life, like um one of the mothers of the Bible said, I'm going to um keep them near me for this certain amount of time, and once they reach this age, I'm going to wean them. So there has to be a point when they come from off being as close to me in certain situations, certain areas, and there has to be some strategies put in place for their lives and for ours, because now as an adult mom who, your children never listen to everything you say anyway, but as adults, they feel like, I'm an adult, so I don't have to listen. Or there are other times when they're like, I just want to know what mom has to say about certain things. Um, we have to know that we have done the best that we can to develop the disciplines that they need to have the courage to do what they need to do in life, to work, to become parents, to become homeowners, to face this world that will have these challenges, but they realize that they can bounce back from them. But they also realize that they still have our advice and our support to lean on while they do it. Are there times when I do not want to continue to get up and do this with my kids? Yes. Sometimes it is exhausting when your children don't listen to you. Sometimes it is exhausting seeing them go through certain things in their relationships, in their current lives. And relationships, I don't just mean like with someone else, I mean like relationships with family, relationships with their own peers. It's hard because you want to fix it. You want to be able to talk to them like you did when they were minors, but you have to realize they are no longer minors, but they're also not your friends. They are an adult who you birth. So you have to treat the situation differently because it's a bit more delicate than other people because they're your babies still. You look at them like your babies. So you just have to learn how to really collaborate with them so that they have that understanding of what the relationship is. And it's not always easy. So it's not always easy to get up. What I'll say I've learned from everything, when it's hard to get up, I need to get down on my knees. I need to pray because this situation is trying to do something to me that I don't want. It doesn't create a good feeling on the inside because I found over the years that situations will easily come to try to create distance with me, with people, and to lay a foundation for depression to snoop its way in. And it's not really something that I like. Now, some people I do need to keep distance from. There are other people I just don't have time for right now because of everything on my own personal schedule, even though I would want to. So there are times when I try to strategically plan to spend time with people or make sure I reach out to people because I don't want to seem impersonable, because that's definitely not who I am. But there are other times where that distance, I could easily just cut you off and move on with life when that may not be the right thing. So I have to really, really just sit back, evaluate what's going on, and let the Lord lead me because it is not easy getting up. And there's one thing that my mother in law said to me one time I was going through something. And she said, take today and cry and you get it out. But after today, that's it. And it's like that joy comes in the morning type of thing. You're going to endure this today. But after this, that changes. And that is how I approach things now. After this, that changes because I'm going to change. This situation is going to change me, but it's going to change me for the better. And this is how I let nothing come to me, because there are things that's going to happen. Just like the Bible says, there are weapons that are going to form, but they will not prosper. And why won't they prosper? Because I'm going to take something good away from it. I'm going to take a lesson learned out of it. It's going to be something good, something that's going to benefit me, something that's going to benefit my family, because I am very, very diligent about being a wife, being a mother, and being a woman. All those things. I take those titles and I say, you know what? God gave them to me for a reason. He called me to this. And why? Because there's something that I have in me to get out. And now, entrepreneur, so all the things that I'm learning, there are some things that I'll be able to share with people, because I'm not the type of person to hold information back. I am a sharer. I am a teacher by nature. So, I have to use that God-given gift of communication, but I use that gift in every area of my life. And I found getting up is easier when I communicate. When that either is writing through, I love to write poetry. So there are some times when I'm going through certain things and I'll write a poem about it. I wrote a poem when I lost one of my babies. And I've really written poems all my life. Like, I remember writing poems as a young girl, very, very young. And um, they were very, very strong even back then. You could tell that there is a gift in my writing. So I know that when I'm going through certain things, I can write, and that helps me get it out, helps me get up. Um, I've had counseling that helps me get up. Friends help me get up, okay? Because there are times when I'm like, going through all of my list of things that I have to do, and I'm like, I don't have time for this. I don't got time to get together. But let me get around them. Man, that atmosphere with my friends will just, it sparks something different in me. And I'm like, I can't wait to be around them again. Not seeing my bestie for a long time, man, let us get together. It's like we cannot stop talking. And really, really just supporting each other, being there for each other. And it doesn't matter how long it's been since we didn't talk, like we just pick up. So, um, those are all the areas. And like, do not think that other people don't experience times when they don't want to get up, because we do. And pressing and pushing past it isn't always easy. There are times when I can just get up and go, and there are other times when I can't. And I have to make myself, or my husband might encourage me to, well, you got to do such and such. Or you got that, that you have planned to do. He's a very good supporter for all the things that I want to do in life. So, but you got to have those type of people in your life that know that you have a dream and they're in support of it. And that's why it's really important to keep that positivity and not negativity around you, because negativity will make you stay down. If you already feel like being down, down is comfortable, down is familiar, down is it's easy a lot of times. I also think about the man who in the Bible, he's on his mat and Jesus like, man, he done been here for a while. Do you want to get up? And there are times when I got to ask myself, do you want that? Do you want to change? Do you really want that? And sometimes I'm evaluating, I might be making a list of like pros, cons, the good, the bad. And The familiars are always there, the comforts are always there. But one thing I realized about being in that same position for too long, it's like sitting for too long. At some point, my butt gonna start hurting. At some point, my legs gonna fall, my feet gonna fall asleep. And then at that point, I have to get up. I don't want to all the time be have to made to get up. Sometimes I want to get up just because I need to get up. So that is what I encourage you to do today, family, to get up, get going, and make it happen. I hope you enjoyed today's tea. Blessings and peace until we talk again.